The Bears are ready in Detroit. Kickoff is an hour away, and CHGO Bears pregame starts right now. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Pregame Show, Week 2 edition. Lions-Bears. Loser falls to 0-2 in the NFC North and 0-2 against the NFC North.
They'll be the last two times you say 0-2 today. We will not speak 0-2 until we're talking about the Lions post-game. We ain't talking to 0-2 Hoge.
Well, the point of the pregame show is to talk about how much this matters. So that's what I was trying to do. Big game.
It's a big game.
Don't talk about 0-2, even though I picked the Lions to win.
That's a good impression.
Hey,
all I know,
No.
we're going to do pregame predictions right now. 3 of the 4 of us sitting here have the Bears winning today. Guess which one of us doesn't?
Here comes. Oh, it's the dunk on Carr moment.
Yep.
1 minute. Hey, listen.
You started it.
No. Listen.
Don't talk about 0-2.
Well, you said 0-2 twice in 10 words into the show. When I'm trying to get myself mentally prepared for 1-1 and saving the season, we need to save the season. This is the day of Ben Johnson. I don't care what I picked. I'm going to live in the moment, and my belief right now in this moment is the Bears can win this football game. Let's go.
My name's Adam Hoge. He's Mark Carman. That's Corey Wootton with his comfort pillow. And Greg Bragg's over there at the end. Let's jump into this, boys. We got a big game. We're going to hear from Adam Johns about halfway through this pregame. He is live at Ford Field, ready to go with all your coverage. Make sure you're following him today, and ready. ALLCITY.com is where you can read everything after the game as well. We will start, as we normally do on this show, with what matters most in this game today. And I am going to start with stopping the run. We know these Lions running backs well. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, very good 1-2 punch. What you might not know, though, is that they have 3 new interior starters on their offensive line, and they didn't look that good last week in Green Bay. And so as scary as these running backs can be, the Bears defense can really put a lot of pressure on Jared Goff and a new offensive coordinator in John Morton. I don't care who you are, if you're John Morton or you're Ben Johnson, it's hard to call plays when you can't run the football. So I think that there for the Bears, great recipe to win this game would be if those big guys up front play well. Grady Jarrett is active, by the way. We'll get to the inactives in a moment. Stop the run. That would be big today.
And Hoge, we talked about this before the show. A lot of those run plays that they gash the Bears are very correctable. Javon Dexter, one of them, he's playing peekaboo. He's supposed to be in the A-gap. He peekaboo's backside. Then they run this gap for a 15-yard run. J.J. McCarthy as well. Deo and Edmonds weren't on the same page. Nobody had contained. So these are plays. They probably had 3 plays total where they had 50, 60 yards on those 3 plays. So if they can prevent those, and a lot of it is the first couple of weeks, there's a lot of mental mistakes. So if they can correct that, I think they could be very successful, because last week Green Bay did a great job stopping the run and then getting after Jared Goff and causing some pressure.
T.J. Edwards returning certainly is going to help.
Yep. All right, Greg, what do you got for what matters most?
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at this Detroit Lions offensive line as the potential for the Bears to take an opportunity here. But that means that Dennis Allen needs to be more aggressive. After watching the game back through last week, I felt like they probably should have dialed the blitz up more on J.J. McCarthy. You saw when they did apply that pressure, Nashawn Wright takes a pick 6 back, because you have to make quicker decisions at that moment. Go back and watch that pick 6. There's a guy that's open for a touchdown downfield, but because you've now sped up the quarterback's processing of what he needs to do, getting the ball out of your hands quick, letting your DBs react faster, now you can create turnovers that way. Well, this week, I feel like this Detroit offensive line is worse than the one they played against the Minnesota Vikings. So let me give you some numbers, because last week the Bears had a blitz rate of 25.8% on snaps. The Vikings, conversely, had 33% of their snaps they blitzed, and 44% in the second half. And this wasn't against the rookie quarterback. You'd think that those numbers would have been flipped last week because you're facing a rookie quarterback. So to me, the Bears need to up this percentage. If I'm Dennis Allen, I'm trying to be top 3, top 5 in the league this week in blitz rate on my snaps. So that means dialing it up, apply this pressure on this offensive line, test the interior of this offensive line, and see how many times you can get to the quarterback, because you're not playing a rookie quarterback this week, and you can't let him settle in.
Well, I'm going to piggyback with some numbers off what you're talking about. So that blitz rate was 23rd in the league last week. So they blitzed the 23rd most in the league in week 1. However, what people might not realize is their pressure rate. And this might explain why he didn't blitz more, Greg. The Bears actually had the highest pressure rate in the entire league last week. They created a lot, which means that they were getting home with 4. Well, that's the thing. They weren't getting home. They were pressuring with 4 because their EPA per play that they were allowing when they got pressure was still 21st. So that means they're getting pressure, but they're not getting home, and the Vikings were still able to convert and have a positive success rate despite the fact that they were facing pressure. So the Bears need to get home, to your point, whether that's blitzing or those defensive ends making plays and actually getting sacked.
Right, you got to get home. And I think the other aspect, if you want to be fair to Dennis Allen too, is you didn't have Kyler Gordon, you didn't have Jalen Johnson. And so that changes how aggressive you can be in certain spaces. You get Jalen Johnson back today. And so I'm just saying, do not let Detroit get comfortable here today, because Jared Goff is a veteran and will pick you apart if you do.
Yes, Carman.
Well, this is just amazing. First of all, let's just compliment Gregory busting out the stats like he's never busted them out before. I mean, this guy just went stats like. I mean, he busted out the numbers. He didn't just go. He didn't do his meatball hat. He didn't just wear a Chef Bears hat. And then you followed it up. I'll give you some numbers too. Let's live in the numbers for a minute here. The Lions last week.
I'm scared.
Well, no, this one specifically for you. Their DVOA last week sucked. Hoge. They were a bad DVOA against the Packers. So that's
the Lions.
The Lions, bad DVOA.
Yeah.
But more importantly than that, here's a number for you: 12 penalties for 127 yards. That sucked last week. You can't win when you're going backwards 127 times, which is what the Bears did last week. But what matters most to me is this is the week of Ben Johnson. You are going up and going against your former team. You are staring at Dan Campbell across the field. You should know the weaknesses of Jared Goff. You should have been able to be in the room this week with Dennis Allen. Let's do this to this Lions offense. And by the way, you should know how to attack the defense. And you should know, looking in the mirror, a bunch of things that you yourself called yourself on that didn't go exactly as to plan in week 1. So I think it's just a huge week for Ben. I think he has a huge edge going back up there. This is an evolving Bears team. The Lions can't have the same edge. I think this is a day for Ben Johnson to put his feet down, stamp it, and say, that's right, I'm here now, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to beat Detroit.
Like A-Town stomp, like back in the day. Let's go. Ben Johnson's statement game, right? You heard it here.
That's right.
Let's go.
This is a big day for Ben.
Yep. What matters most today is the run game for the Bears. Last week, I just didn't like when you looked at the stats that they talked about in the fourth quarter when the game mattered. Bears had the lead, only had 3 running plays. Right, you look at the runs, right? Caleb Williams had 6, Swift had 17, DJ Moore had 3. My guy Manungai from Don Bosco Prep, how many did he have? 0. Give him the rock today, right? A little thunder and lightning, what they did last year with Montgomery and Gibbs. Let's see some of that today. I want to see the run game, a concerted effort. It's going to mix and match the run and pass, and I think it's going to give Caleb Williams some more confidence, right? Yep. It's the war of attrition as the game goes on. And I really think that's why the Bears lost that game. Obviously, a lot of mental mistakes, but in the fourth quarter, you have to be able to run the football, and the Bears couldn't do that last week.
By the way, overall, the Lions' DVOA this week was 30th. The big 3-0.
They got their ass whooped, so it's not that surprising. I mean,
bad DVOA, Hoge.
Let's get to our inactives, and they are interesting. There's 6 inactives today, and I'm going to read these off for you, and then I want to see what stands out to you, Carm, on this list. Kyler Gordon, we knew he wasn't going to play, and that's a bummer. So we'll see if the Bears they need him back. And now somehow he went from a little setback in practice last week to not practicing at all and being, I don't know, something's off there. Jade Walker, he was dealing with an injury this week. Ozzie Trapillo, Case Keenum, Karan Amagaji, Shamar Turner.
Well, I think it's what everybody sees here is that those are second-round and third-round picks that are just not on the field. It's just not a great look when you're talking about establishing a football team that wins week in, week out when your selections are not on the field. And I see Gary and her pushing back, stop freaking out, it's one game. Well, look, it's just not great. And
Gary, I'm not freaking out. It's not just one game.
Karan
Amagaji has been inactive for a season and a half now. Okay?
Yeah.
Why is he yelling at Steven about it? What did Steven do?
The reality is, and Gary actually pointed this out to me in my pregame show with Gary before the thing. Look, they're picking Luke Newman over the guys that they selected ahead of him.
And Theo Benedette.
Yeah.
Theo Benedette has completely he's the swing tackle today. If Darnell Wright goes out, it's not Ozzie Trapillo going in at right tackle. It's Theo Benedette, who's going to be probably out there as the jumbo offensive lineman a bunch. He's the only – let me just double-check this. He's the only other tackle available, right? Yeah. So if they go down 2 tackles today, guess what's happening? Joe Tooney's probably playing tackle.
It's a sad from that standpoint of drafting and not being able to really hit on any of these guys. I know it's still early, but even Turner, second rounder, right? He's not even in the rotation. Defensive line, you rotate constantly. So I think they just don't feel comfortable with him at all. And some of his development, who knows, he could turn out to be a good player. But those second and third round picks, you want to be able to have them in a rotation, especially as a defensive lineman.
Well, and the worst thing about Turner, too, is that, look, Grady Jarrett is not anywhere – well, I don't know how close he is to 100%, but he's not 100%. He didn't practice all week. He's got a knee issue. He's going to grind it out because he's Grady Jarrett and he's a leader. But that is a guy that you're going to have to rotate in and out. That is where Shamar Turner, in theory, should be playing. So that's just not – it's not great.
No, and the thought was with Turner was that he was going to be able to contribute early, that he seemed like he was one of these players in the draft that was capable of playing early. The question on him was staying healthy. And then he was hurt in training camp. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why he's still inactive. But nonetheless, not great. But they do get T.J. Edwards and Jalen Johnson back. Those guys are in. That's a big deal. I am going to be fascinated. And I want you guys all to assist when the game starts to see how the cornerbacks are being deployed in this game, because a lot of talk about Jalen Johnson. And remember, so that means, So, with Kyler out, could you potentially have Jalen Johnson shadow?
I would. Right, that's your best.
Well, who are you going to put him on, right, of these 3 wide receivers? Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
He plays in the slot, though.
Yeah.
But my point is there's a world, if you get creative here, where you can keep instead of having Nick McLeod out there more, you can have Jalen, Deshaun Wright, and Tyreek Stevenson out there together, but that would be asking Jalen to play a spot that he's not totally familiar with.
Yeah.
But and how healthy is he really?
Right.
So what I'm describing, I feel like is probably not what's going to happen, but it would be one interesting solution if they could pull that off without not having Kyler out there, because Deshaun Wright's been, he's been good.
It's going to be interesting to see how Jalen, if he's truly healthy for this week, like how he is, because they got some killers at wide receiver. Honestly, Jameson Williams, he'll blow the top off the defense. Right. Amon St. Brown, tight end position. I mean, they have so many different weapons.
Cleve Raymond's pretty good too.
Yeah, so they got a lot of weapons out there, but having those guys back, especially T.J. Edwards in the middle, the quarterback of the defense will be huge. Hopefully they can limit some of those mental mistakes they made, just because a lot of that run game and some things in the past were just mental mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's usually what you see early on in the season.
I think my biggest concern is if you are going to shadow St. Brown with Jalen Johnson, which I don't know if they're going to employ that first game in back. But my concern is Nashawn Wright with Jamison Williams, because I think the one thing you see with Nashawn Wright is his strength is at the line of scrimmage, his length and his size and his physicality. He can really messy up a route and slow you down into getting into what you're trying to get into. But once now you're downfield step for step, that's where he can lose strides.
Track meet right there.
Yeah,
Jamison
and Jamison's going to win most track meets. But I just think overall that'd be my biggest concern in terms of that matchup. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
And we need to get to our quarterback report, which is brought to you by RC Cola. You guys know this. RC Cola, it's not a soft drink. It's just damn good cola.
Damn good cola.
Damn good cola. We're going to have some RCs in the middle of this game, I think.
About 12 of them.
So as we get to 12 of them.
Whoa.
Well, we got Mr. Soda to my left, and
Yeah,
you know, I'm
Corey.
just going to join
How
him
many
today.
sodas you had so far this morning?
I didn't have any.
He said to your left. He said to his
It's
left.
Mr. Cola to you.
You're Mr. Cola, and you will drink some RC with me today, buddy.
All right, you got it.
No whiskey, because we got to keep you
No whiskey.
sober.
No whiskey.
Well,
Unless we're down 3 score at
maybe
halftime.
you'll be trench drunk today.
No.
But we're not talking about the trenches right now. We're talking about the quarterback report. And the question's pretty simple. You know, as Caleb Williams went through his struggles last week, inaccuracy, all the stuff we talked about all week, how much confidence do you have in Caleb Williams today on the road, loud environment, to bounce back strong?
I'll start out here. To me, the thing that I think is encouraging about last week, we all understand you can harp on the accuracy that has to improve, no question. But the thing that, when you watch that game, to me, starts out 10 for 10, taking a lot of the in the flat, check down, looking downfield. All right, I'm going to go to DeAndre Swift. I'm going to go to DJ Moore and just take the easy yards, right? And yes, there's maybe times he's passing up things downfield. But for me, it's about Caleb Williams make quick decisions. And I thought you saw a lot of that last week, whether it was throwing the ball or running and getting out of the pocket. All right, pocket's starting to break down. Go out and get yourself some yards. Get 60 yards and a touchdown. Just making quick decisions. And even on his 2 worst throws of the game, the 4th down to DJ Moore and then the Cole Kmet, same play in the 4th quarter after the holding call on Darnell Wright, he pre-snap understood where he was going to go with the football, but based off of the coverage he was seeing, and he just got too excited. But to me, he made the quick decision. Okay, I'm going here to the slot. I'm going to look off the linebacker. Now I'm going to, and he just has to slow down his process a little bit. He recognized it correctly. The process was correct, but now he just has to slow down in that regard. But I like the
Answer the question. Do you have confidence in him today?
Yes, based off of the fact that he's making quick decisions.
We're in the head. We've entered the cranium.
Yeah,
that
based
is Greg
off of the
Bragg.
fact that he's making these quick decisions,
Okay.
now it's just about slowing your process down to make sure you get your technique and your fundamentals down. But it's last year you have 68 sacks because he's not making quick decisions. Everything was, you know what I mean? So to me, it's just about recognizing things, and the rest of it I think will come.
I do have confidence with him this week, and I think this comes down to Ben Johnson, right? Developing Caleb Williams. It's a work in progress with this. It all starts with the play calling today. Really get that running game going, right? Mix and match that play action pass. And I think this week he just has to learn to take what the defense is giving you, right? We saw at times open receivers, missing them, holding the ball too long, some of the things that plagued him last year. If he can get the ball out quickly, right, and Ben Johnson has that good game plan, because the scripted plays were awesome. Once we got off the scripted plays, that's when the offense really we didn't see them driving the ball down the field the same way. So I think this week, Ben Johnson, we need his best performance. He's going to be fired up to coach against his old team. So if he can come out with that good game plan, get another drive where you score first time, and then sustain more drives after that, and I think it comes down to the run game. I want to see Monangai get a bunch of touches today.
So the interesting on the running game, because Ben was very honest, at least I think he's being honest, saying that he needs to call more run plays. So I would expect that part of the quarterback equation taking a little bit of pressure off Caleb to be in effect today. As I would assume the Carman guy is going to get some carries, and maybe we'll see more than, the 17 that DeAndre Swift got last week. And hopefully he'll average more than 3 yards a carry this week. But look, like there's been a lot of conversation this week. Like, well, he was great with the scripted plays, but he wasn't great when it wasn't scripted. Well, there should be some level of celebration on Ben Johnson scripted 10 plays to start the game, and he went 10 for 10. That is what Ben was brought here to help the quarterback, and we're very early in that thing, in the years that they're going to spend together. It's hopefully, seemingly, and he's already impacting him to the point that, these are the plays, go in, run them, and he ran them. So I would like to think that going into week 2, they are building off of that, and as they get deeper in the game, there will be that much more confidence in being able to execute it. Also, Ben learning him. So if you're looking for confidence in Caleb today, it does come down to what you're talking about in my mind, that the reason why Ben is here and taking a supremely talented guy and lifting him up. So I'm sure he learned a lot week 1. We saw that the scripted plays work, and I would think that you'll get a little bit more depth today. So yes, I am confident, Hoge, that there will be a step forward in Caleb today.
Well, I think part of the reason why I asked this question using the word confidence is I do feel like we are starting to enter a little bit of territory where if it doesn't go well today, I think we need to worry about Caleb's confidence.
So I was actually paying a lot of attention in the locker room to his body language on Friday, and it's interesting. Keep going. I think I just cut you off. But yeah,
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. You got me excited about it because I think
you were paying attention to body language.
I shouldn't be allowed in the locker room. I shouldn't say that out loud, but I pay it. I'm paying attention to what is going on. Yes, I think you can tell a lot.
Let me give you a piece of advice, okay?
Don't say things that Bears Twitter will clip.
Yeah. Please don't do that.
Bears Twitter, I love you.
Here's something, if you didn't already know this, and you should.
Yeah.
Those players don't want us in the locker room. Whoa, as nice as you were to us when we used to come in there and bother you, did you want us in there?
You know, if Carm was in there, no. But, God, I didn't mind you being there.
But my point is...
No.
My point is...
I was in there with Woot. Woot was amazing.
No,
always focused.
But people usually look down upon the media, to be completely honest.
The 45 minutes of the day that we're in there is probably not the best representation of a player's body language, no matter who you are.
Well, it's a little bit... It's different, though.
They're here in their phone. They're faking phone calls. They're
leaving the locker room.
They're bouncing out.
Well, it's slightly different, though, this year because now we are getting locker room access before practice. So you're seeing a lot more guys in there. I do think there actually is at least a little bit of an opportunity just to sort of get a pulse of what the team feels like behind the scenes this year that you wouldn't get in the past.
A little bit. I also think it increases how much they don't want us in there because they're trying to get ready for practice.
But back to what you were saying about the confidence of Caleb Williams. I think this week is so huge for his confidence going forward. If he can put together a good performance, be efficient, run this offense well, get a win, that would be huge for the rest of the season. Starting out 0-2, if he doesn't perform well, you kind of got to worry about between the ears how everything's going to unfold.
Well, right, because we're almost 8 weeks into this thing since camp started. And I feel like you can only go through so many beatings. Like mentally, you know what I mean? Like, this still isn't working. This still isn't working. This still isn't working. Before doubt, I mean, it's only human nature at some point to have doubt creeping.
They've lost 11. Caleb and company that have been here, they've lost 11 of their last 12. It's a lot.
What do we see anytime we go on social media or, ESPN or all these places? Bears never can have their quarterback. They're cursed. So think about reading that all the time. The only way you change that is go out and do something.
What's the smile over there?
It's just funny. We spent 2 months saying, all right, guys, let's be patient. And then 3 quarters into the season, we're like...
3 quarters.
Right. Like, as soon as it started going bad, 3 quarters into Monday night, now we're...
we'll see after today.
And I get it. That's football. It's the nature. You only get 17 of these. This isn't a baseball season. But it is funny. It's like, be patient. Everybody, I even told myself 100 times, be patient. And now we're all freaking out.
Well, but to answer my own question that I asked like 15 minutes ago, I weirdly do have confidence in him today. Like, I just think it's going to be a little bit of a bounce back. I think Ben's going to scheme up the throws. I feel like he'll probably still have a few errant ones, I'm sure. And I'm going to sound like Carm. I'm not going to be pissed off if he actually throws an interception today.
Great take by you. Phenomenal.
But what I mean by that is you go back and watch the film and you see him afraid to throw the corner. Afraid, like these guys are NFL open, man. Exactly. You got to try it sometimes.
Shoot your shot.
There's got to be a balance between touchdown and check down. I'm happy with the checkdowns. But when the touchdown's open, please, for the love of God, hit the touchdown.
256 yards passing last year in Detroit, 3 touchdowns, 40 yards rushing. So there you go.
And we didn't have Ben Johnson last year.
That's right.
We need to take a break, though, because we have to get our picks in here from Bet365 and go out to Ford Field and talk to Adam Johns. All that's coming up next, but first. Hey, with a Bet365 early payout offer, you are a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Just download the app. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Bunch of NFL offers throughout the season. On Thursday Night Football, you get the $10 safety net bet. Sunday Night Football, like tonight, there's a $365,000 jackpot.
Hells yes.
Monday Night Football, 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays. Bet365's always got you covered. Breaking news, because new customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365. Deposit 10, place a bet for $5. You're going to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus if you or someone you know has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only.
Let's go Falcons tonight. Shout out to our friends at Almost Home Tavern, which will be a great place to watch your Sunday night football or anytime football or, hey, the Cubs march to the playoffs. All right, if you are looking for your favorite spot, it's chef-driven. It's elevated bar food. This stuff is delicious. The smash burger, tavern-style pizza, straight amazing as well. Pool, darts, big buck hunter. For somebody like you, Gregory.
That's right.
Shuffleboard for your athletic talents, Hoge.
I even like the shape of the
pizza there is so good. They got the hot honey pizza.
The shape of the bar.
Great shape.
No, I'm being serious.
I
Like
know.
some bars, like the shape of it's more communal.
And there's some great plugs in the corner where I've recharged up here. I love Almost
Great
Home.
plugs.
Check out Almost Home Tavern, daily specials, happy hour, all of it. It's worth your time. It's just a block north of Wrigley Field. Pre-game, during game, post-game. Great spot if you're going to a Cub game.
All right, keeping things going here on CHGO Bears pregame. It is time for our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up. Use code CHGO365. Deposit 10, place a bet for 5. You'll get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Now is a great time to do that, to take advantage of that today. Before kickoff, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only. And this is what we've put together for you today. Our pregame picks from Bet365. Our guy Steven producing came up with this same game parlay for you. DJ Moore to go over 50.5 receiving yards. And Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. You get plus 206 on that two-leg parlay. Seems pretty realistic there.
I like it.
I don't think we want Gibbs to get in the end zone, but chances are he probably will.
It's not the parlay I would have picked.
Yep. And by the way, the Bears' explosive rate last week was pretty good. So to think, DJ Moore can have a couple big plays and get over that 50.5, I think makes a lot of sense. Steven, can you put that back up there, though? And then because we have a couple more on there, I'm rolling with this one. Who was it that brought this up last week? Greg or Carm?
Me.
Okay.
It was a brilliant.
Steven.
Steve.
I was at the
Olamide?
tailgate.
No, I said sprinkle the Zacchaeus. I'm taking credit for that.
Okay, well, we're going to sprinkle some more Zacchaeus out there. 24.5 on the over. And what was the third one? Over 46.
You're
and a
gonna
half.
have that one.
I'm actually on the under on that one, which isn't fun. My score prediction was only had a
Yeah, that was mine. I like the over on this one.
Okay. Woots likes the over. Okay.
I did a separate Carm Bet365er. Plus,
We don't care. We want to hear from Ben Johnson.
you care. 15 yards or more receiving for Loveland, Komet, and Swift. Plus 15 on all three. You get it's a 3-to-1er. Love it. They're all going to get 15 yards each. Great move by me. Now you can go to the head coach.
Okay. We have some Ben Johnson from Friday at Hell's Hall. And which one is this one? This is the one. Oh, this is This is how he ended his press conference. Thought it was super interesting. So here's Ben Johnson Friday at House.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to prepare for. I remember going against him a couple years ago when he was in New Orleans, and you have to have a plan. He finds a way a lot of times to find an unblocked rusher, get to your quarterback, and so it's very stressful there for the blocking unit, particularly if you're in just a normal six-man pro, which most teams are on third down. So that pressure package is something that I think Johnny Moe and Dan over there in Detroit, they know pretty well. They're very familiar with from both their time in New Orleans as well. So I'm sure they'll have a plan for it. But DA's been doing this for a long time, and he's got some really good things in his arsenal.
Coach, in your experience with Jared Goff, what kind of motivation do you think he's taken from last week's performance, didn't move in the way he wanted, that's going to come out against you next?
I can't speak for him. I just know he's a very resilient individual, one of the most that I've been around in the NFL. He's been to the top, he's been to the bottom, and he certainly finds a way each week to come back and swing away. So I know we'll get the best version to compete against here this week.
And what's been like with Jalen back on the field, assuming he's good to go, what kind of moves can that be for your defense?
Yeah, no, I think I'm very happy with him. He comes out, he's got a swagger to him, confidence, he's not afraid to talk a little bit. That's what I feel immediately is just the presence out there. And then when you watch the tape yesterday, he's very sticky. And so, we like to eliminate the space in our coverages, and so I think he's going to be a really good fit here for us this week.
How is TJ Edwards coming along?
TJ Edwards is coming along just fine.
How does he look now compared to a week ago?
Very good.
Coach, I know you like to be where your feet are, but any thoughts or conversations about 0-2, particularly a division 0-2?
You're crazy right now. We're going to win this game.
Thanks, guys.
That's good. Thank you.
That's exactly the reaction Carm gave me at the start of the show.
Pretty much.
They're crazy for bringing up 0-2.
Well,
even though it's factually correct that the loser will be 0-2.
Yeah, but I'm with Ben. You're with Herb, and I love Herb. But you and Herb, me and Ben. I'll take Ben.
Okay. Shout out to Craig Leach, who just gifted another 10 CHGO Sports YouTube memberships.
Oh, Craig.
And that is a new wrinkle we have for you here on YouTube to become a YouTube member. And we just had a new sticker drop. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but you guys do. That's the cool part. There's now a claw, a Caleb claw.
Wow. Ross and Gritty and
Yeah.
Phillip and Brian and Dirty Dog is in. No Mandy Plummer.
Yeah. And Motor Music Michael earlier, I think, also joined. So
This is big.
it is big.
Leach is the man.
Also big, our guy Adam Johns is out at Ford Field, where he just watched.
He's inactive today. It's unbelievable. Guy was going to be he's going to be the starting left tackle. Now he's inactive.
Johns is inactive?
No.
Trapillo. It's a
Trapillo
Trapillo
Johns.
joke.
Oh, yeah.
Trapillo.
Giant Johns. Giant Johns.
I am very much active, Carm.
You are, baby. That's why we love you, Adam.
He's always active. I know Ben Johnson just took the field at Ford Field. How was that? What was that like?
It was loud, Adam. Very loud boos, to the point now everybody's grabbing their binoculars to see who he's booing at, or who's everyone booing at. And there was Ben Johnson taking the field with Bear security at his side. So that would be the opposite end zone of where the Bears warm-ups are. So nice long walk for him to the Bears side of the field. And the Lions faithful let him hear it for sure.
That's the beauty of the rivalry, baby. Hopefully his impact will be a lot greater than Craig Counsell's in Chicago. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to the inactives today, Johnsy? Because there's a lot of people in the chat that are commenting.
Yeah, at first glance, it's like, oh, this doesn't look good. You have Grana Magaji, a third-round pick. Ozzie Chapillo, rookie, second-round pick. Shamar Turner, rookie, second-round pick. Now, Kyler Gordon, second-round pick from a couple of years ago, but he is dealing with an injury. But to see those previous three names, Amagaji, Chapillo, Turner, it doesn't look good for the Bears. Now, I will say this, guys. It is a long season, a very long season. It's only week 2, but you don't like seeing your high-round picks, your early picks, being inactive like this, especially earlier in the season. Now, I want to say Turner is a different case because he missed a lot of time in training camp, and like his position coaches were telling us the other day that he's got a lot of time to catch up on. Like he's just behind on things because of his injury situation. But Amagaji, Chapillo, you would hope after that left tackle competition that one of them would be active today, maybe as the reserve tackle. But it's Canadian Eagle, Theo Benedict, who has emerged ahead of them.
Well, the one guy that is exciting for Bears fans to return today is Jalen Johnson. So I'm curious just what you're seeing out there in terms of alignment for the secondary now that Jalen's returned.
So, of course, Jalen Johnson is starting. So the question was, who's starting opposite him? He had Nashawn Wright, who had the great pick 6 against the Vikings in week 1. He had Tyreek Stevenson, who many of us consider the starter heading into training camp, but whom the Bears have said was in a competition. So looking at pregame warm-ups, it is Stevenson opposite Jalen Johnson with Nick McLeod in at nickelback again for Kyler Gordon. But I think there was some question whether or not what the Bears would do at cornerback opposite Jalen Johnson. Maybe they spell him a little bit because of his injury situation, but according to pregame warm-ups, it's still number 29 with the starters.
It's also possible that they play some games and warm-ups, and it could look different in the game.
Johns, what are your keys to this game right here?
Run the football. Try to establish that run game. Take some of the pressure off your quarterback. Ben Johnson wants to run the ball. Look, I know he's on record saying he'll do whatever it takes to win this game. He'll pass 50 times or run 50 times. But just to help your quarterback in a noisy environment where you know they're going to get booed, where you know you got to use the silent cadence just to get off the ball. Establish the ground game. Believe in this offensive line in which you've spent a lot of money on, different resources on, and trust them. Get it going. I think that it'll take a lot of pressure off Caleb Williams in this environment, which I expect to be very, very loud.
So let's do the same exercise then that I think I asked you last week. Let's just say, hypothetically, the Bears call 60 plays today. How many times do you think he keeps it on the ground this week?
Oh, boy. Well, he promised Kyle Monangai he's going to get carries, so that's going to go up. I'm curious to see what that amounts to be after Monangai got no carries whatsoever in week 1. So I'm guessing the Bears will have about 25 to 30 carries. I'm just interested to see how much they can control the ball with this Lions offense being as potent as it was. Look, I know they had a down game in week 1, but this Lions offense is very, very good. So if they could get off the field, if the Bears defense can get off the field, I like to see the Bears control the line of scrimmage, control the clock a little bit, establish that run game. So, if they're flirting with 30 carries this game, not counting scrambles by Caleb Williams, I think things are going very, very well for the Bears in this one.
I told Johns this on our Friday Hogan Johns, but his Chicago accent comes out so much when he says Monangai. Monangai. How he says it. Hey, Johns, I know you were watching Cairo Santos pretty closely in warm-ups. It is an indoor game, which helps a little bit, but we didn't get a chance on Friday to talk about the Bears signing Jake Moody. Just how much pressure do you think is on Cairo Santos? Because it wasn't just the missed field goal last week; it was also the botched kickoff at the end of the game too. And look, Moody's got his own struggles, but you can't ignore the fact that they signed another kicker. Feels like the pressure's mounting here a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You asked me via text if I saw Jake Moody out here. I did not see him going through any sort of warm-ups. If he was here, maybe he's in sweats somewhere. So I did not see him. It was just Cairo Santos going through things with Torrey Taylor and Scott Daly. His whole battery was out there with his special teams coaches going through their routine. I think the best way to view this, Adam, is just putting a little pressure on the veteran, letting him know that, hey, just so you know, we're looking at other guys just to keep you on your toes. So figure it out, find your rhythm, get back here. We need you to make those 50-plus field goals. We need you to kick it out of the end zone when we ask you to. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We've seen teams do this for years. But to me, it's as simple as that. A little pressure, a little message to the veteran that, hey, just so you know, we're looking around at your position on the open market.
This dude missed a 27-yarder last week. He made 70% of his kicks last week. Cairo Santos is the most accurate kicker in Chicago Bears history, greater than Robbie Gould. This can't be considered a real threat, can it? Just because he had a big leg in college?
Well, then, yeah, third-round pick, right, Jake Moody?
Yeah.
He has the talent, and I think we've seen it, numerous times, actually, throughout the league where you have one kicker who just doesn't click in a certain situation for whatever it is. Maybe it's the coaching staff. Maybe it's too much pressure from the head coach. Maybe it's just a lot of different things that, doesn't work for him in certain situations. So maybe a change of scenery is what works for Jake Moody here. Like even like Cairo Santos' story. Let's not forget that he had a cup of coffee here before he started doing everything that he's doing right now for the Bears. Like that was during the John Fox era. We have a soundbite of John Fox calling Cairo Santos Carlos for a reason, because he had a cup of coffee as he tried to reset his career. And then finally, by a second chance, he reestablished himself as a reliable kicker. But Carm, like, I know what you're saying, but I see no problem in terms of putting a little pressure on your veteran, to field a little bit just to see if it motivates him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with the pressure part. I can't imagine.
I mean, to me,
I can't imagine them actually going through and cutting Cairo for him.
Field goal kickers, in a lot of sense, to me, are a lot like relief pitchers in baseball. Like they have these ups and downs. They go different places. They're bad here, but they can be better there. And so, to me, that is, I think, worth kicking the tires on in that regard. I mean, look at when the Bears let Robbie Gould go. He was going through a struggle period. Then obviously he bounces back to the Robbie Gould we all know. But I just think that kickers go through that in the NFL.
But so it's interesting you bring that up, because like that would be also a reason don't quit on Cairo too soon here, just because he's in a little bit of a rut. Because obviously they made that huge mistake with Robbie Gould when they let him go. On the other hand, kickers, sometimes a change of scenery does work. And what the Bears failed to do then with Cody Parkey, the guy's struggling the whole season, and they don't put any pressure on him. They don't bring in competition at any point, and then they lose a playoff game over it. So I have no problem with them signing another kicker to the practice squad. Your practice squad's basically like a whole nother team these days, Johns, with the amount of guys you can and the flexibility you can have on there. So you bring in this young guy who's got a lot of talent. I think they're going to let Cairo run with this until he forces them to make a change. But if he goes out there and misses 2 kicks today, then maybe you make a change. I mean, but at least they're bringing in competition, because they failed to do that with Cody Parkey, and it killed them.
Yeah, I just think it's good messaging, right? Competition, like every other player, maybe outside 1 or 2, feels some type of pressure to perform. They really do. So having someone to compete or take a few snaps away from your kicker during different days, maybe it's even just to rest your kicker, maybe rest your veteran a little bit here during certain things during practice. So I don't think we're making too much out of this, to be honest with you, especially with some of the flexibility these larger practice squads give you throughout the regular season.
All right, Johnsy, we'll let you go. Food's usually pretty good in that press box, so hopefully you're getting – it's not Thanksgiving, but you still get a good spread.
It was Greektown in Detroit is right down the block, so that's what the genre of food was today. Some Greek food is fantastic.
Oh.
Well, don't come back if they don't win.
Come on to the family, man. Come on, Bragg. Don't do them like that, man.
Leave them all up there. No, we need this one, Johnsy. We can't handle whatever it would be if they lose today, the record, because I'm not talking about that record. Damn it.
Well, I did pick the Lions, boys, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, man.
All right. We'll be following along during the game. Make sure you're following Johnsy on Twitter at Adam Johns and read all of his coverage after the game. We'll also hear him on the post-game show. There goes Adam Johns at Ford Field in Detroit. We have some more sound to share with you, including Carm going one-on-one with Ruben Hippolyte here in a little bit. But let's hear the other Ben Johnson exchange from Friday that was funny, honestly, but also telling, because well, you want to set this up, Carm?
Well, we were just wondering, like, because Ben has been so gracious with the media and since he's gotten here, and we were kind of wondering, well, at what point is he going to have a little bit of a, lay down the law. I am the head coach. I'm not going to be Johnny Friendly all the time. And it happened Friday, courtesy of Patrick Finley asking about my guy, Patrick Finley, go Cats. Finley, one of the great Cat fans out there, but asking about last
Pat
week's
Finley
game.
locked Oregon yesterday, too, for the record.
Yeah, but at any rate, Finley wanted to know more about the kick that we've heard a million times about, and Ben wasn't having it.
I want to ask about the endgame kickoff thing one more time.
Man, can we go on to the next game? I'm still on the.
With the new rules, when it doesn't land in the landing zone, it's a dead ball, right?
Mhm.
So theoretically, could you have just kicked it anywhere, just
Short.
more than 20, and the clock would have stopped?
Mhm.
Was that considered at all?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And
Listen, last time I'm going to bring up last game, okay?
Yeah.
I got greedy and I wanted the extra 5 yards. That's why we tried to kick it out of the back of the end zone. Simple as that. Okay.
Dang, Finley, you better stop. You said don't ask again.
That was – and so what he started, because Friday is the day that
On to the next game.
Well, so he's been so, as I was just saying a second ago, friendly, that when he started, can we go on to the next game the way he said? I thought for a second he was kind of joking a little bit. And then so I kind of chuckled, and then I saw, he is.
It's always the nicest guys that you push them to that limit. You don't want to see that from Ben.
I get it. Like
That's where we need the Grady Jarrett sound drop. Trying to get this through to you, and you in particular.
Yeah.
Right here. That was me.
He has had 4 press conferences since that game ended Monday night. So I get it from his. He did post game, Tuesday Zoom call, Wednesday before Caleb talked, now Friday, and it's like how many times he's being asked about this kickoff, and also he's giving you that was a very credit to Pat. He still got a really good quote out of it too when it was all said and done. But he's taking accountability for it over and over and over again. And so I like how he's just like, I got greedy. I wanted the extra 5 yards. Now let's move on to Detroit.
Well, and I wasn't exactly sure what Pat wanted to hear. I guess he wanted to hear him admit it again that he messed it up.
I don't know.
I asked in that press conference.
I had read, sorry to cut you off,
okay.
but I had read that apparently they could decline the penalty if they kicked it out of bounds like everybody suggested. Maybe you're the special teams guy, you're the rule book guy, so I'm just throwing this out here. But I did read, somebody said on Twitter that they could, if they kicked it out of bounds, Minnesota would just decline the penalty and make them re-kick. And then if they kept going through that charade, then because of some rule that says that they could just give them the ball. Like they can't just keep doing that over and over.
Yeah, but fine. But the clock never runs in any of those situations, which is what the point of what the Bears were trying to do. So I think Pat was just trying to bring up that with this new landing zone thing, you don't actually have to kick it out of bounds. You could just kick it short of the landing zone. I think that was the point of his question. I don't know why he needed the head coach to confirm it. That is the rule. But it is interesting to think about because we didn't really talk about that part of it. If you don't get it to the 20, it's a dead ball. Same way as you kick it out of bounds, same rule applies. The ball comes out to the 40. So, I don't know. I'm with Ben. Can we move on?
Well, and I think overall, too, Kelvin Shepard, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, was getting grilled about certain coverages, and he was like, he was going at the Detroit reporters like, well, what is his responsibility on that drive? And then he's like, he tried to explain, no, what specifically is his responsibility? And then Dan Campbell was getting the heat from the Detroit writers as well, where he was asked about, why aren't you running your offense just like Ben Johnson's offense last year? He's like, well, what do you mean specifically? And he's like, well, more motions. He's like, you think we didn't call motions? So I think both coaches right now, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, feeling the heat and also have had a little bit enough of the questioning.
So that I love that you just brought that up because that was, now this is, I'm switching sports here, but I've seen managers, one in particular, who would do that. Like they would ask Jim Riggleman, shout out to Cub fans out there who remember Jim Riggleman, why'd you go to that reliever? Well, what did you want me to do? You could have brought the lefty, and he would actually have you give it back to him, and then ultimately the reporter would look like a moron. So listen, if Ben Johnson started doing that back to Bears reporters, some people would be in trouble, i.e. me.
Yeah, but the counter would be
what would you do?
The counter would be, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, exactly. You're the coach.
Right.
That would be the
I'm
counter.
the reporter.
I'm not supposed to know specifically. Tell me specifically.
Yeah.
which they never want to do.
but if you're gonna go down the you should be doing this road, you should have a thought about it and then be able to back it up, and then maybe he'll agree with you, and maybe
But
he
in
won't.
this case, the head coach, since the game ended, has taken accountability for what they should have done.
Well, that's
why all I'm saying is I understand his annoyance with
Kinda
still
poking
having
the
to ask
bear a
the
little
question
bit.
again on a Friday.
Related to the Lions stuff, I get what
Yeah.
Break goes to, but related to Ben was the most honest dude ever all week about it. I thought it was amazing.
Kelvin
Ben.
Shepard's press conference though this week, ton of one-word answers. He was fired up. He's got to ask, what makes it so hard to defend Ben Johnson, or what does Ben Johnson do so well? Whatever the question was, he was like everything. Next question. It was awesome. All right, Carm seeked out a player in the locker room, and it was Ruben Hippolyte who had his debut as a Bear the other day, and one of these.
Look at
days,
my guy.
Look at him, all vertically looking.
Hoge yelled at me for doing the
not
vertical.
horizontally.
Yeah.
I'll never do a vertical interview again.
Amateur
This is
hour
going to ruin the
already.
show.
I would bet $1,000 you do.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for vertical on Insta, but not for the show. So you got to go horizontal for the show, but not for Insta.
Right, but they
Okay.
can make it vertical.
Correct.
But this
Well, you
was,
can make it
but this
vertical.
was for the show. That was the assignment.
Oh, but this was for the show, so Carm, you're wrong.
It's like
Yeah, right,
trying to
Steven? Yeah.
explain to your
Yeah,
grandpa
no,
how
I got
social
it.
media.
How to work a computer.
Yeah.
Love when I do the one-on-one and I get screamed at by Hoge on a Friday after. Vertical. Okay. My bad. No, I'm wrong. Hoge is right.
Well, here it is. Carm's vertical interview with Ruben Hippolyte.
Any talking here this week about winning one for Ben going back up to Detroit?
I mean, obviously he was there last year, and we want to win every game we play. So it's really not like it's really not that type of conversation. It's more so like we want to win every game, and we want to beat every opponent that we go up against. So obviously it's going to be a lot of emotions and high energy with him going back there. But we're just looking forward to taking care of business and going 1-0.
All right, last one. You weren't here last year, but did you feel kind of sort of the weight of that loss come on the locker room here, or was that just like, okay, that happened, that sucked, but we're moving forward?
Nah, this team does a great job of staying together. We're going to hit adversity. We all know that. Not everything's going to go our way this year. We're going to have ups and we're going to have downs. So no one was negative. Everybody was very positive. And like I said, we're on to this week. Looking forward to bouncing back and looking forward to getting back on the right track.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
So Ruben's a great guy. Appreciate him, and interesting guy to pay attention to. As with TJ going out, obviously his time's probably going to go down. But I do think it's, for me, what's interesting right now with just the actual culture that Ben is trying to bring in here, because it's been super positive, but this is a team that has lost 11 of 12 games, and there is something major that Ben is trying to build, which is what he said is the goal for this season, which is how we want to play. That's what his goal was for the season. It wasn't wins, it wasn't playoffs. It was basically, this is so we know that we're better in December, better in January. That's the goal for this season. And I do think that if a slow start continues, it's something that he's going to have to address in the locker room, that guys are doing things the right way. Because last year it went sideways in a big-time way. So we're not there yet, but I am paying attention to the culture of the team and whether guys are just dialed in, or because last week's loss was so demoralizing that I think it kind of you have the fear that it throws you back into last season, because it was such a not quite commander style loss, but around it. When you're up 11, kicking a field goal to start the fourth quarter, and you lose that football game, and that's the start of your season, I'm slightly worried about the impact of that. And obviously they could put that deeply in the rearview mirror if they come out with a win today.
But that's why they need to respond. I mean, I talked about this during the week a few times. This team has to figure out how to develop a backbone and show some toughness, because last year, the Hail Mary, the first sign of real adversity, 10-game losing streak. They all started turning on each other. This year, it's a microcosm. That first game was of last year. Things are going good, not perfect. One real smack in the mouth of adversity, and then offense, defense, and special teams all played a hand in the meltdown in the fourth quarter. So that's why it is Ben Johnson's job. That's why you got paid $13 million a year to come here, to change that culture, change that mindset, and come here today and play with toughness, not just physically, but mentally.
All right, well, we're running out of time here getting the kickoff, so let's get to our game day predictions and single out the hater. We got a bunch of them on here, though. Beyond just
I'm not the only one. Come on.
Just the four of us. Yeah, well, you're the only one on set here.
That's true.
I am going with the Bears today, 23-20. And yes, I have a Carlos Santos miss built into that prediction. I'm a little worried. However, I like the Bears matchup, especially on the interior against this Lions offensive line that's not as good as the Vikings offensive line they played last week. I don't think the Lions defense right now is as good as that Vikings defense they played last week. So I'm expecting a bounce back. I got the Bears winning 23-20.
Yeah, I just had to. It's too many hills to climb here for me to pick them today. Although putting your money where your mouth is, I got a lot of bets on the Bears today. So I hope that prediction is wrong and the money comes in. Because I got +6, I got +6.5, and I got a bunch of Bears playing well today.
Yep, I'm going bold, like the coffee I had this morning. I'm going Bears 31, Lions 21. Statement game for Ben Johnson after that bad loss last week against his old team. He's motivated, he's fired up, and I think this is a statement game for Caleb Williams, this offense, defensively being able to stop Jared Goff and them. I think the Bears win big today.
Yeah, I got the Bears winning 27-20. Obviously, there is a little bit of wish casting going on here, a leap of faith. It's the Lions should, just like last week, I felt like the Bears should win that game, and they didn't. The Lions should win this game, but that doesn't guarantee they will. And the one thing that I think that intrigues me is I do feel like the Bears have the coaching advantage, even though it is in Detroit here today. I like Ben Johnson going up against Kelvin Shepard. I like Dennis Allen going up against John Morton. And ultimately, when you look at Ben Johnson versus Dan Campbell, I think Ben knows everything about what the Lions are these last 3 years, offense and defensive side. And yes, Dan Campbell knows who Ben Johnson is, but he doesn't know who he is with this team. So I think there's a little bit more unpredictability there where Ben can take advantage of that. But ultimately, this team's got to show toughness because it's going to be a close game, in my opinion, and it's going to come down to those game of inches moments that you got to be tough to fight through.
We'll go rapid fire on the Super Chats as kickoff is almost here.
Super rapid fire.
The 3 pepperonis, $10. First in and ready for that dub. Let's see how BJ and CW blow the roof off today and put our weary minds to rest. Hashtag need this.
3 pepperonis, you're the man.
Joseph San Giovanni with our guy with the Swiss francs. 10 of them today. Well said, Braggs. A gap blitz might be in order. Let's go.
Liddy.
Bear with me with $5, saying consistency is the key on both sides of the ball. Nico Suave with $20. Appreciate it, Nico. I may be an idiot, but $300 wins $755. Let's go. Love you guys.
I need a bunch of that, Nico.
I like the money line bet. Definitely like covering the 6.5. Kelly.
Dr. Bunny.
Dr. Bunny out of nowhere.
$10 from Dr. Bunny. Love you for looking forward to a Bears victory and some fun play today that gets us back on track. Bear down. Sorry, not sorry, Greg, about your Boilermakers yesterday. Fight on.
I only like him for basketball. Football, Notre Dame.
Get out of here.
Thank you, Dr. Bunny.
Are you guys done?
No.
Nice win by Dr. Bunny's USC Trojans over Purdue yesterday.
Yeah. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Things did not go well.
He's fair weather. Get out of here. Who does that?
So remember that later in the season when USC beats Notre Dame, Dr. Bunny. You can come after him for that one.
Craig Leach, 10 CHGO Sports memberships to the man Leach, and then $50 from Leach. Why don't you read this one, Greg?
Total meatball take, 31-7 Bears, 5 sacks, 2 takeaways. Let's effing go, CHGO. Meatballs for everyone. Bear down.
Let's go, Leach. Love that optimism. And then $20 from the amazing Crystal, who was incredible at the Northwestern game yesterday.
Don't question him, Briggs.
Hey guys. Hate to say it, but I have the Bears losing 27-21. Sorry, Woot, I missed you yesterday cheering on the Cats.
It was bad over there. I didn't want to go there.
I texted him. Like,
it was bad.
It was good for a minute.
It seems like the view's nice there, though.
Yeah, that's about it.
By the way, bear down, guys. Crystal was amazing yesterday, taking all the videos at beautiful Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium. Go Cats.
Pat Norton was over there.
Pat Norton was there, too.
Oh.
We're here for postgame at 3, right, Hoge?
We are. As soon as the game is over, we'll be right back here. CHGO Bears postgame. Make sure you the link's already up, so you can go hit the notification. Be ready to go. We'll be live when the game is over, brick by brick. After show, after that. And I think we're actually going to have Hogan Johns for you tonight instead of tomorrow morning. And we're going to fire Johns' travel planner. But we'll
travel agent.
Yeah, it's travel agent's fired, who I think is Jake. So
And the show.
He could fire you. You
And the
can't
show.
fire him.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
What are you doing right
And
now?
the show.
Why are you bringing the mic? Bro.
And the show.
Bears going to go get that dub. We'll talk to you post game.
Hey, yo.
Hey, you.